Democrats get things done.
The Dow hit an all-time high yesterday.
We're seeing historic job growth.
The largest investment in clean energy in the history of the world.
Illegal crossings down 54%.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
40 of his 44 cabinet officials wouldn't support it.
I will not be endorsing Donald Trump.
That's just the beginning.
Defendant Trump, he's on the line for $600 million.
Barred from business in New York for 3 years.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
We are not going back.
Everyone, welcome to the Dating and Relationships Meetup, also to the nonpartisan Red Pill Men's Group. Today, we're going to be talking about monogamy, and particularly monogamy in a post-feminist world. I put in a modern world, but really we're talking about a post-feminist world and how to get to monogamy. We're doing a book study on Rollo Tomasi's book, The Rational Male, and I will put the text up on the screen, and then we will go ahead and read it together. And we're reading the section on goal state monogamy, monogamy as a goal versus as a product of dating non-exclusively. We'll start, and then after that, we'll open it up for discussion. And the discussion is open to whatever you want to talk about related to monogamy or to dating or to relationships. Sometimes we can get a little off, help some people out. So it looks like we're ready. So what I'm going to do is let's see, anything else I want to tell you about here before we get started. Yeah, remember, you can register for these programs at tinyurl.com/redpillmen, and you can join this conversation if you're listening to us watching us on Facebook at tinyurl.com/redpillmen.
I'd like to go after Jay because Jay wanted to go.
Oh no, I just wanted to add like a very small, like a what do you call it? Like a footnote. I'd say like have her see if she's attracted to you before she even finds out whether you have money, right? Because that's like the true gold standard, is because if she finds out you're a millionaire and then she's like, oh, I like you, but I don't want you for your money, like, is that really an honest assessment of whether she likes you? She already knows you have money. So I think that's why a lot of rich guys, especially, they play down their wealth. And I think even middle-class guys should play down their wealth, because there are lots of broke chicks looking for free stuff. And there are lots of men out there, and simping is at an all-time high right now. So look, if you are, anywhere near the six-figure range, I would suggest, like, at least in the earlier stages, to play down that whatever you have, or just so you can weed out the users, the bro chicks, the sugar babies, and other trash. And this is going to pay dividends down the road. Just so you know, you're weeding out all the losers in the beginning, and that's what women do, right? They weed out in the beginning all the unattractive men, whatever it is that they don't want. I think men should do a better job of weeding out, because and of course, I would say that in today's world, in the past, it used to be men look for beauty and women look for resources. 2024, it's literally the opposite. Well, it's it's like men are looking for just companionship at this point. We're willing to settle for much below our standards or what they would have been in the 1950s. See a lot of guys who on paper are like 8s and 9s. They're like, I'm happy with a 5 or 6. Just I just want loyalty. And the women are like, I'm a 5, but I demand a 10. I'm like, how did all this happen? But it's for a different day, I guess. But I would just say, like, if you have something that is makes you a target, I would say just hide it. Don't even hint to you having anything more than the other guy next to you, just so you can just kind of be sure that she's in it for you.
And I would say to what Jay was saying, first off, men don't want just sex. I've said that before. We want companionship. if we didn't want companionship, as Jay was saying, then why would we go through all the bullshit when we get married to put up with a wife 5, 10, 15 years of her being unhappy and we're not getting out of the relationship? But there's another thing too. The MGTOW movement is very, very good. It shows that there are men who are willing not to put up with the bullshit that women provide by saying, I'm not going to date anybody. That's kind of extreme, but it does start a movement whereby men do have to look inside ourselves and we have to say, I am the prize. And even if I don't have the money you're looking for, you're not doing me a favor by going to bed with me. You're not going to bed with me out of compassion. You want orgasms. If I give you orgasms, then I'm fulfilling what my so-called, not obligation, but what I want to do. I want to please you because of who you are, until I see the makeup go off, and then after that, I may change my mind. But so men have got to stop looking at women as being virtuous, a sugar and spice, and all things nice. They're human beings who want, out of avarice, your resources. And one thing I will disagree slightly with Jay is that I don't think any man who is upper middle class or wealthy should downplay his wealth. All he has to do is, after a few months of dating, is just ask the woman, would you be willing to sign a prenup? And people should go on YouTube to see the responses. It's funny as hell if it weren't pathetic.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm telling women now is that one of the things I tell them is that I'm looking for a woman who's financially independent. And sometimes that brings up the conversation. You suddenly find out when you say, I want a woman who's financially independent, how women's minds sort of can twist and bend at that. What does that mean? And the truth is, we're not stupid. We can count. We see the money leaving our wallets. Don't tell me you're not about money if the price of a meal is what's going to come between you and me dating. Go ahead.
Did you hear about the woman who made it practically an avocation of going out with men one time, 2 times, just for the meal? She went out something like 100 times in 1 month. She was on either Facebook or YouTube. But what you've said, Rich, about you're looking for a woman who's financially independent, I've said I would love to meet a woman who is the so-called strong and independent type. They do not exist. They always need a man. And because they know where you're headed for. When I say you, I mean me. When I say I would love to have a strong and independent woman, but they know that means you're paying your way, baby.
Yeah, that's what they know. They start to ask that, and I sometimes I wonder that a lot of women, they have never. I don't know if they've ever had good sex because they don't have a strong interest in it, and it's like secondary to them. And like this religious woman I was talking to, I mean, I tell her that on the man's list, intimacy and affection are number 1, sometimes number 2, rarely less than 2 on their list. And she's, well, women don't think that way. I don't care how women think. You got to know what a man wants, what we're going into a relationship for. We're not going into a relationship to buy you shit, to pay for your life. We're going into the relationship, to be your travel companion and help you pay. I mean, women don't want to share. They don't want to share their gold. That's it. But I'm not. With Jay said something. Do you think that this simping? I had a question for Jay. This simping, this paying for sex, because I drive back past the strip clubs, their parking lots are jam-packed and full. And I don't think it's all, like we're Ryan Teraband, I don't think it's all guys who are just so desperate for sex they're not getting it. There are a lot of them are married, and they just want to, and they're happy to see what women would do for money. There's some benefit to we can have sex with any level of woman, and we can do it fairly cheaply too if we go to other countries. And also, we can find a better woman in other countries, one who makes $100 a week, and there are good women in other countries, make $100 a week. Maybe they'll be more appreciative and more respectful of you. Because the moment a woman makes more money than you, she starts to lose respect for you. And that's sort of what happens. There's this piece of propaganda that's been circulating on Facebook. It's a meme and says, it has a picture of Taylor Swift and Hillary Clinton. Men are intimidated by successful women. We're not intimidated by successful women, and we're not intimidated by women that make more money than them. It's just that women do not respect nor want a man who makes less than them. And if we seem upset, it's because we don't like being disrespected. We don't like being treated that way. Would you say that's right, Joe?
Yeah, you said it in a nice thumbnail fashion. I was going to say you should also think about saying that if you do go over to other countries, and if the women there have different cultures in which they respect a man, do not expect the same thing if you bring them over here. If you bring them over here, they will make you appreciate American women more, because once they're over here and they know what the laws are like and our culture about how we put women first, just like that general who used to work for Trump. And he actually said it on air. He said, you have to put women first. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. If you bring them over here, our culture elevates women to the status of practically a princess in their country. The laws protect them, and they believe that they're the boss. And it goes back even to the 50s, because there was a video I had seen some while back when Groucho Marx had his show, You Bet Your Life. And he had on a Bolivian woman and an American man, and they were going to get married. So he asked her, well, you're from Bolivia. Why are you over here in America? And she says in that broken accent, because over here in America, you can be the woman, the wife, and still be the boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was back in the 50s.
Yeah. That may be true, particularly if you get a significantly younger woman, but you got to recognize it doesn't matter what their age is, they still do the same crap to you. But I think you might be able to find another woman that, will be true. I know guys have married women from other countries and they're still married. Usually those women may be a little heavy or whatever. And but if you're going for that young one, that young, beautiful, hot one that's really where's the genuine burning desire? Where's the genuine burning desire for you? That's always my question. If the woman doesn't have genuine burning desire, she doesn't want to make love to you every day or at least 3 times or 4 times a week, then why are you there? But I think that a lot of women have not had good sex. They must have not, because why would they say things like, oh, if I can't get the guy I want, I'm just going to be celibate for the rest of my life. I'm not going to have anyone.
One reason is because they don't participate well in sex. I've rarely ever had a woman who thought that like Woody Allen once said about Mia Farrow when she got a ticket for speeding, traffic ticket. He made a joke with regards to their sex life, and he, well, it sure as hell wouldn't be for a moving violation, and that's good. A lot of women, they just want you to do the work, which I don't mind. But if I'm exploring your body, okay, explore mine. Yeah. If I'm initiating, then you can also initiate. So they don't participate well in sex. And if they're going to lay on their ass and expect you to do all the work, it's not surprising that they don't have really good sex. And if they don't suggest to the guy, and hopefully guys will take a narrative from their women as to how to please them. If the woman doesn't tell her guy what pleases her, then she's not going to be satisfied. And she's not going to be satisfied in guy number 2, guy number 3, or guy number 4.
And she's going to say, why do I want sex? What I'm looking for a man is companionship. Well, we want companionship. I'm looking for a man for all these other reasons. And, and then sort of hold us over the barrel to get those things by using sex.
Rich and the rest of the guys, have you ever asked a girl, what do you bring to the table? Because I'd like to know what they've said, because I've had some shitty answers.
Well, they deny, they say they're the prize. They say they're the prize. You know, I had a woman, I'm the prize. And no, you're not the prize. Your ass is not the prize. You know, you're not bringing anything to the table but your ass. You know, so don't.
Oh, yeah. Glad you said that, because I was talking with a relationship counselor online, because I go to other online venues, and on these other online venues, they have these relationship counselors. There's about 4 of them. 3 of them have taken their butts off. Well, all of them are now gone, but I asked this one, and she was the nicest one of them all. And I asked her, because she was talking about how men should be grateful for having the women in their lives, and she was, going on about it. And I didn't have any objection to it, but I did say to her, you're talking about men should be grateful. What is it that women should bring to the table? Now, this is a relationship counselor who says that she's got clients. So she's counseling people on how to improve their relationship. Do you know what her answer was?
I don't. Tell us.
Women bring the beauty. That was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Women bring the beauty. Nothing about morals, nothing about companionship, nothing about appreciation, nothing about gratitude, nothing about support. Just bring the beauty. And she wasn't being sarcastic, and she wasn't being nasty. She really believed it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's entitlement and privilege. And just like men and just like anybody, what the left has been telling us is that people won't give up their privilege unless they're forced to do so. And so men in this MGTOW movement, it's kind of a Me Too movement for men. Look, we got screwed, I got abused. It kind of is. And so they're doing that type of resistance now, but I think we need space to actually, like this, where we can actually talk and advocate for ourselves and our interest in these relationships, because it's so very hard. You know, I studied feminism and wrote a book on sexually explicit materials and social attitudes. I knew nothing about women until I discovered the red pill and evolution psychology and behavioralism. And
I'm sorry, Rich, were you going to finish up?
Go ahead, Joe.
The one problem with the MGTOW, because as you're right about, there has to be a counter movement in order for, like a revolution, in order for the prevailing movement to change its mind. So the one thing with MGTOW that I disagree with is that, and the statistic that I had seen, and 63% of men from the ages of 25 to like 35, 63% find the modern dating world so bad, they're not dating anymore. Okay. That to me means that men are denying themselves the joy of intimacy. Right. And I don't believe them, but they're still denying themselves. They don't want to jump through the hoops anymore. But the thing is, that statistic may be too high, because I asked somebody who's very good at data analysis, because he was taking a look at it himself, and he saw the statistic as being 57%, but that's still too high. Men shouldn't have to punish ourselves for the selfish attitudes of women. We should still go out there, but do it in a way to find easily, does this woman have the attributes that I'm looking for before I spend even $10 on her? That's what men should do.
Yeah, but the problem is there aren't any of those women out there.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the women that a high value man would want is like not even 10%, because they're so indoctrinated with me, myself, and I. Me. I'm the prize. I'm entitled. I'm the princess. When they have that attitude, they expect men to bend over backwards for them, even if you're rich, handsome, and famous. And they will get it too, because if you're a 9 or a 10 with makeup on, you'll get it. So another thing, and men don't get enough credit for for marrying women who take off their makeup and they look like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Matthew, if you want to jump in, Matthew is MGTOW. You can just open your mic or raise your hand. I'd love to hear from you, Matthew Lamb.
Yeah, sure. I just think that like it just benefits women to do what they're doing right now because they're living the lifestyle. But like I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think like there's really no active solution. Like I think that there's going to be a whole wave of women who are going to be childless, single, and marriedless, like living on their own, and they're going to be miserable. There's going to be an uptick in like depression medication and alcoholism. There's going to be like rehabs just for like middle-aged women, and I think that it's like eventually going to take care of itself essentially. I don't think that because if you think about it, you're young, you're beautiful, you go out and guys just throw like resources at you. And it doesn't have to necessarily be money. It could be like taking like to a nice place or a party, which then gives you access to like higher value men, where then you can extort more resources from them. So it's always like, and they're bombarded with so many different plans. I don't think that there's any incentive for them to stop.
There's a slight incentive. If you take again, the MGTOW movement has sparked this. There are videos of women who are good looking with their makeup on, even crying, saying, "Where are the good men? Why don't men approach us anymore? Why aren't men helping us anymore?" That's because we're fed with your attitude.
That's after they've gone through like 15, 25, 35 guys, and every single one hasn't taken them seriously, and they're wondering why they haven't been able to retain a long-term relationship. And then they're wondering why there's nobody out there. Like all the good guys that eventually would be with her don't want to be with her because she's already been like, like had her sexual exploration.
Yeah, you got a body count. And I don't know about the 15, 20 guys that she has to go through. Again, this is the spark of a counter movement. If men realize their value in being just the man, you don't have to treat women badly. You don't have to be a player. You realize you're the prize. And if the other women aren't going to realize that and give you the, not money, but appreciation and gratitude for being the man, because men do not mind protecting and providing for what they believe is the right woman.
But see, the thing is that I agree with you, but that requires a level of I would say authority, or like a view of we're the prize. So here's the thing. The biggest thing is that they think they're equal to us. So if let's say you're at work, you have your boss and your coworkers. Well, you wouldn't talk to your boss a certain way because he signs your paycheck, but your coworker is equal to you. So because they're equal to you, you feel like there's that option of, well, I could disrespect that person and not get in trouble, or I can do this and that person's not going to. That person can't do anything. He can't fire me. I can leave early, and this person who sees me wouldn't say anything. So like it's ingrained in the fact that they believe they're equal. It has nothing to do with like because they think they're equal, like things like loyalty and openness and honesty and trust, like all those intangibles, it means nothing to them because they can get that from anybody. Like I think like the value of the male commodity has depreciated so low that like you can't purchase anything with it anymore.
Our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward. not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. I promise to be a president for all Americans. I will be a president who unites us around our highest aspirations. Let us show each other and the world who we are. And together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told.